All right, we actually do have some very specific news on number 4, Aaron.
According to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, the Arizona Cardinals hosted Ohio State star wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. on a top 30 visit today.
Oh,
today. So it was a Friday. It was the Friday.
Do you read into anything when it says hosted?
Hosted?
Like it's already done?
Like past tense as opposed to hosting. Hosted.
It's new.
So maybe it was a situation where they brought him in last night. Maybe that was it. They went out to dinner last night. Thursday, of course. Why wouldn't you do it on Thursday? Because you don't want to do it on Friday night. Why wouldn't you do it on Thursday night? Right? That would make sense to me. So maybe they went ahead and had the official visit. They hosted him over at the facility building. Maybe that's what happened. That would make perfect sense. And you know what? He's going to fly out this afternoon. We might get a little lunch, a quick lunch, and then they'll just fly him
Would
out.
you take Marvin Harrison Jr. to a quick lunch?
No. You know, it'd be so awkward. Seriously. You know me. I'm just not good at small talk, right?
How's the weather?
I'm not a good conversationalist. I'm really not.
What do you do for a living?
You know, I give a lot of thoughts is what I do. I come on, I give my thoughts and opinions on a lot of things. Don't necessarily have a good ear for a conversation. Interesting.
So you want to be in the meeting, but you just don't want to have to talk.
He's just going to be the guy judging you in the corner.
Yeah.
No, I
Arms
wouldn't be
crossed.
judging you whatsoever. I would not be that.
Horrible answer.
I do want to be able to ask you some questions from time to time and just get your reaction to it. Kind of like we do on the show. As a matter of fact.
So let's just have Marvin Harrison Jr. We'll interview him on the show. We'll ask him those questions. Is that how you want to do it?
The bottom line, there's all this stuff in the funnel on News with number 4. News with number 4. We have all of these little bits, and there's all this stuff in the funnel. What is coming out of the end of the funnel? That is what you have to ask yourself. What is coming out of the end of the funnel, and do you like it? And for me right now, Marvin Harrison Jr., I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to have the opportunity to trade out, and I expect them to do it. We had a mock draft earlier. We had Warren Sharp's mock draft where he's a heavy analytics guy for the most part. We had that mock draft where he was actually going to trade down, right? Trade down and then trade back up to get Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 5. Trade with Minnesota, number 11 and number 23, correct?
Yeah,
11
and then package.
23.
Yeah.
And then package 11 and 27 to trade back up. To number 5, which I thought was really, really cool, and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. If you could tell me somehow, some way that could happen and they still get an edge guy at number 23, that would be awesome right there.
Yeah, well, speaking of edge, ESPN has a list out there today. It's 20 of... It's not necessarily the top 20 prospects because, I don't see Caleb Williams on here and I don't see Marvin Harrison Jr. on here. But they're all big names. If you're following the draft at all, these are 20 prospects that you certainly know the names. And it said, it's Matt Bowen wrote it. It's the favorite team fit for each of these 20 prospects. So, Malik Neighbors he has going to the Giants. It's not a mock draft. It's just this guy would fit very well on this team. J.J. McCarthy he has with the Vikings. Brock Bowers he has with the Bengals. For the Cardinals, and he doesn't have to have every team, but he has Chop Robinson would be a great fit for the Arizona Cardinals. Couple that with the Maurice Jones-Drew mock draft that came out that has Chop Robinson there with the Cardinals. And it's not the first time we've heard Chop Robinson linked to the Cardinals. That just seems to be more of is there any way that he would actually be available at 27? And that's probably pretty unlikely, really, that he would be there, especially because he had a pretty good combine.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one right there, man. If you told me somehow, some way, Chop Robinson happens to be my favorite edge guy in the draft. Okay, I know Dallas Turner. I know that. I get that. Jared Verse, Rice. Yeah. Those two guys, I understand, are probably going to be drafted. Chop Robinson, to me, Something about that guy when you watch him and how he plays. I love the physicality of him. I love the fact he's over 250 pounds. First of all, I like that because I want a little butt from the edge. I want to bring that. Chop Robinson, I think, is that guy.
I like big.
Well, you know what, honestly, and he does have an explosive first step, does he not, Basinonians? Chop Robinson does. I think he can get to the passer. I think he's one of these guys who's not going to be a finesse guy, not going to be necessarily a big technique guy. He's going to be I'm better than you guy, run you over guy. Got a little butt to him. I love the bull. So much of the time, I love this about an edge player. He can beat you with the bull, and you know he can beat you with the bull. And he will go ahead and try to establish the fact when he plays against you, here comes the bull, and what are you going to do about it? And all of a sudden, you're going to go, man, this guy, he's got a little butt to him, and he's going to bring that bull, and I'm going to sit down on that bull rush. And all of a sudden, here comes the changeup to that bull. You got to have a guy who can establish the bull, that I will run you over. And once he's established that, now he's got everything at his disposal. I think Chop Robinson, a lot of that I see in him.
Let's be clear.
Say what?
I like Chop Robinson a lot, too. As you just said, you do. If he is Micah Parsons, he will go first or second, or he should go first or second in this draft.
You know, man, that is, You mentioned Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett might be a better comparison to me.
Yeah,
comp
and he was a first overall pick, wasn't
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I think Myles Garrett was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do wonder if they'll be able to pull this off now. I mean, as it stands, they have 2 first-round picks. Maybe they move stuff around, but as it stands, they have 2 first-round picks. Is there a way they can pull this off where they get one of those 3 receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, or even Malik Neighbors, and one of these 3 main pass rushers, Jared Verse and Dallas Turner and Chop Robinson? Is there a way they can come out of the first round with 2 of those 6 names?
Yeah, there is, as a matter of fact. His name is Warren Sharp. In his mock draft.
Well,
right? I mean, that's what it was right there. It's why I said this is the best mock draft I've ever seen. Only based on who the Arizona Cardinals are going to have after the first round.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about Warren Sharp in his mock draft earlier in the broadcast right now. He had them coming away with Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 5 and Jared Verse at number 23, trading away the 11th and the 27th pick, of course, to the Minnesota Vikings, who then would have the 4th pick. But then he had Monty moving up.
Back to number 5.
Back to number 5, which, have we seen that? Yeah, we've seen that before, haven't we?
Well, we've seen a lot of mocks that predict a lot of trades from Monty Ossenfort. We saw him make a lot of trades at the draft last year. And I'll bring this up again as well. Field Yates had a mock draft out earlier this week that also had the Cardinals coming out of it with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jared Verse. That was why I think even we're under 3 weeks to go to the draft, Wolf, and we've been talking draft here in Arizona for a while, even before the playoffs. I don't know about you. Usually this time of year, it's like, all right, let's get to the draft, right? And I'm ready for the draft. But I haven't really gotten tired of talking about it yet because I think it's because of where the Cardinals are picking, the fact that they have 2 first-round picks, the fact that they could come out of this with 2 elite-level players at positions they need in the first round, and the fact, as you've said multiple times now, they kind of are the start of the draft, really, once you get past the quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, they are, man. I cannot wait to see what happens. We're all waiting, but the Arizona Cardinals sitting there at number 4, it is a good thing, because it's good to be Monty.